On November 3, 2011, during a violent thunderstorm in northern Pennsylvania, two young brothers vanished from their apartment in the middle of the night. 11-year-old Ty Mercer and his younger brother, 8-year-old Bryn Mercer. No signs of forced entry were ever found. No witnesses saw them leave, and no evidence ever explained what truly happened inside apartment 2B at the aging Willow Creek Apartments. But perhaps the most disturbing part of this case was what investigators discovered upstairs. The Mercer family had lived inside Willow Creek Apartments for nearly 3 years. The building itself was old, poorly maintained, and according to former tenants, strangely unsettling after dark. Neighbors often complained about odd noises echoing through the walls late at night. Footsteps, dragging sounds, whispering through vents. Most residents blamed the building's age, but weeks before Ty and Bryn disappeared, several people living near apartment 2B began noticing something strange. The noises always seemed to come from upstairs. There was just one problem. Apartment 3B, directly above the Mercer family, had supposedly been vacant for over a year. Ty was described by teachers as intelligent and quiet. He loved mystery novels and carried a small cassette recorder almost everywhere he went. Bryn was energetic, creative, and deeply attached to his older brother. Friends later told investigators the boys had recently become terrified of nighttime. Ty reportedly told classmates there was someone upstairs. At first, nobody took it seriously, but according to several witnesses, the fear inside the Mercer apartment kept growing. One downstairs neighbor later claimed she heard loud footsteps pacing above her ceiling nearly every night around 2 a.m. Maintenance workers checked the upstairs apartment after complaints were filed. Officially, they found nothing. No furniture, no people, no evidence anyone had entered recently. Yet the noises continued. 5 days before the disappearance, a tenant named Laura Simmons contacted management after hearing what she described as heavy dragging sounds directly above her bedroom. Again, maintenance searched apartment 3B. Again, nothing was found. But by this point, Ty had reportedly stopped sleeping alone. He kept a flashlight beside his bed every night. And according to relatives, Bryn had started refusing to go into the hallway after dark. Then came November 3rd. A severe thunderstorm rolled across the town that evening, knocking out power across several nearby neighborhoods. At approximately 9:12 p.m., security cameras captured Danielle Mercer returning home carrying groceries with both boys beside her. It was the last confirmed sighting of Ty and Bryn alive. Hours later, multiple residents reported hearing loud noises from apartment 2B. Heavy footsteps, running through the hallway, furniture crashing. One witness later claimed she heard Bryn screaming shortly before midnight. Then suddenly, everything stopped. The next morning, Danielle Mercer never arrived at work. Calls from relatives went unanswered. By afternoon, police were asked to conduct a welfare check at the apartment. When officers entered apartment 2B, something immediately felt wrong. The front door was unlocked. Dinner plates still sat untouched on the kitchen table. The television flickered softly in the living room. Ty's cassette recorder rested near the couch. But Ty, Bryn, and Danielle were nowhere to be found. Investigators searched every room carefully. There were no signs of forced entry, no blood, no obvious struggle. Then officers noticed the attic access door above the hallway had been pulled open. One investigator climbed into the narrow crawl space above the apartment. Inside, he discovered muddy footprints moving across the wooden beams. There were also burned candles, empty food wrappers, water bottles, and children's drawings taped to the attic walls. One drawing immediately disturbed investigators. It showed two small boys standing beneath a tall shadow figure. Written beneath the drawing in shaky handwriting were the words, "He watches from upstairs." Police never publicly confirmed whether Ty or Bryn created the drawing, but investigators became convinced someone had recently been living inside the crawl space. Then they listened to Ty's cassette recorder. Most of the recordings were harmless. Conversations, television sounds, random noises around the apartment. But near the end of the tape, the tone changed completely. The recorder captured faint footsteps above the ceiling late at night. Then Bryn's frightened voice whispering, "He's up there again." Moments later, a loud crash echoed through the apartment. Then came another voice, a low male voice investigators were never able to identify. The recording became distorted shortly afterward, but according to leaked reports from inside the investigation, one sentence could allegedly be heard clearly. "Don't let him downstairs." Police immediately forced entry into apartment 3B upstairs. Officially, the apartment had been vacant for 14 months, but inside, investigators discovered signs someone had been secretly living there. A dirty mattress sat in the corner of the bedroom. Food containers covered the floor. Bottles of water lined the walls. And taped across one section of the room were dozens of newspaper clippings involving missing children cases from surrounding states. Then investigators found something even more disturbing. A narrow hidden opening inside the bedroom wall. The passage connected directly to the attic crawl space above apartment 2B. Police now believed someone may have secretly moved between the apartments without being seen. But despite extensive forensic testing, no usable fingerprints were ever identified. Then the case took another terrifying turn. 3 days after the disappearance, Danielle Mercer's car was discovered abandoned near Black Hollow Forest, nearly 60 miles away. Inside the vehicle were her purse, her cell phone, and Ty's flashlight. But Danielle, Ty, and Bryn were gone. Investigators later examined Danielle's laptop. Her internet history contained disturbing searches involving hidden crawl spaces, noises inside walls, people secretly living in homes, and shadow figures. One search in particular stood out. How long can someone live above you without being noticed? Years passed. No arrests were ever made, no bodies were ever found, and the Mercer family simply vanished. Over time, more former tenants came forward with strange stories involving Willow Creek apartments. Several described hearing whispers inside empty rooms. Others claimed they heard footsteps above them despite entire floors being vacant. One family reportedly moved out after their child insisted, "Someone watches us through the ceiling." Eventually, the apartment complex became nearly abandoned. In 2018, Willow Creek Apartments were officially condemned due to structural damage and safety violations. Today, the building still stands empty at the edge of town. Dark, silent, rotting slowly from the inside. But according to urban explorers who illegally entered the building over the years, strange sounds can still sometimes be heard coming from the upper floor. Footsteps, dragging noises, and occasionally, the faint sound of children whispering somewhere in the dark. More than a decade later, Ty and Bryn Mercer remain missing. No suspects were ever identified, and nobody has ever explained who or what was living upstairs.